Okay, so I've gone approximately 30 feet and we've already had catastrophic failure. If you look here, you can see this seat is bent down and this bar right here has a big crack in it. So I sit down and to the right, pretty awkward lean. Anyways, I guess I'm too fat for this canoe. Okay, welcome back to the channel. I'm out here van camping at the Lucerne campground in Mount Robson Provincial Park. But more importantly, we're going canoeing. This campsite is famous because it is along the Yellowhead highway and is on the shores of Yellowhead Lake. So that's exactly what we're gonna go do, is canoe Yellowhead Lake. I'll talk more about that as we go. But first things first, in a portage through the campsite, down to the water, get in the water, and then we'll talk more about it as we go. Let's go. So as always, every good canoe starts with a portage. And as far as portages go, this one's pretty simple, although I did have to deal with a little bit of adversity. Oh, I already have a rock in my shoe. It's the one flaw of Crocs, which is crazy because I did not think there was any. As I mentioned earlier, I'm currently at the Lucerne campground at Mount Robson Provincial Park. This campground is about 20 minutes outside of the BC-Alberta border, which is where I will eventually be heading. If you're new here, I'm currently on a 60+ day summer road trip through BC, Alberta, and even Saskatchewan. And that's what brings me here, to the shores of Yellowhead Lake. And with all that being said, let's go canoe it. Okay, we are officially at Yellowhead Lake. Canoe is ready to go in the water. So that's the current plan of attack. Get in the water and get going. I think I'm going to go out, head this way. You can see the highway over here. See the car? So I'm going to head that way. I don't really know why, but that's just the way I want to go. And we're going to loop around. So with that being said, get the canoe off and then let's go. Oh, bee. As I dodge that bee, I slide my canoe into the water, load up my stuff, and then we're officially canoeing. What a beautiful place for a paddle. I kick off my shoes to get comfortable, and then catastrophe strikes. Panic then ensues, and I quickly pull ashore to assess the situation. Okay, so I've gone approximately 30 feet, and we've already had catastrophic failure. If you look here, you can see this seat is bent down, and this bar right here has a big crack in it. So I sit down and to the right, pretty awkward lean. Anyways, I guess I'm too fat for this canoe. I think I'm gonna jam something under there, probably this water bottle for now, and I am going to continue paddling. I have more canoeing planned for this trip, and yeah, I think I'm gonna have to figure out a better solution, but whatever, I don't really know what to say. I'm gonna have to figure out something better, but for now, I'm gonna jerry rig it. Are we allowed to say jerry rig? We're gonna jerry rig it, and then we're gonna continue on Yellowhead Lake. Okay, it is fixed for now. Let's go. The start of this paddle feels like a microcosm of this whole trip. So many false starts, stops, changes, and issues. I'm beginning to think that I'm the problem. As a wise woman once said, "It's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me." And while I descend into my Taylor Swift era, at least I am now, finally, well and truly, paddling on Yellowhead Lake. So I'm right by the Yellowhead Highway. This is the highway that I was gonna say this is all named after, but it's all kind of named after itself. I don't know what came first. Probably the trade route. Anyways, that's the highway behind me. Below here is gonna be the railway, so hopefully we'll actually be able to see a train come by. That would be kind of neat. A lot of people would say this is a negative about being so close to the highway and so close to the train track, but for me, that's all part of the history of this area. So it just is what it is. It is It's history, not a negative. Anyways, we're gonna head over here. These are the Seven Sisters, past the railway. Further down here, we're gonna continue on this lake. According to map, there's some sort of land that might prevent me from getting from one end to the other, but the park ranger told me that this was in fact one lake, so I think I'm gonna be able to get through. I'm not exactly sure what's gonna be there, whether it be, I just have no idea. So with that being said, I'm gonna go Seven Sisters, train tracks to the other side of the lake, as far as we can canoe. Let's go. So pretty much right on cue, a train rolled by. The railway here closely follows the north side of the lake, and it can certainly be loud. This leads to complaints at the campsite, but ultimately, this campsite wouldn't be here without the railway. In the early 1900s, they punched the railway through the Yellowhead Pass, and in 1913, the Canadian Northern Railway built their Lucerne station on the south side of the lake, which is the spot that's now occupied by the Lucerne campground. So yes, this campsite is close to the railway, but Canada's history is close to the railway. So you're best to embrace it, or at least get used to it. Okay, we are officially out of the canoe, and we are hiking through this shallow part, which connects two portions of the lake to the other. It is way too shallow to canoe, so we're just gonna drag the canoe upstream. So if I'm honest with you, this part kind of sucked. The rocks are very slippery, so slippery that it actually had me questioning what I said earlier about my Crocs. It's the one flaw of Crocs, which is crazy, because I did not think there was any. Anyways, the rocks were very slippery, and while the water was too shallow to canoe in, it was deep enough and had enough current to make this a real pain in the butt. But eventually, all good things come to an end, and so do the bad ones, so I was finally back into open water. Okay, I'm officially out of that narrow section now. That was a little more difficult than I intended. It was quite slippery. I even tried to start with my cell phone in my pocket, but I was sliding all over the place, and I realized that that was a terrible idea, so I went into the canoe. But anyways, I'm glad to be done. We are in a new section of lake, and way out in the distance there, I think that's a train bridge, and I think that's what I thought was like a little land block in the lake. I think it was actually a train bridge, so I think I'm going to be able to canoe through it, unless we have another one of these shallow spots. I'm not really sure, but with that being said, I got a whole new section of lake to canoe, so that's what I'm going to do. Go canoe more of Yellowhead Lake. Now that I'm back underway, it feels great to be paddling again. I'm paddling here in the shadow of Lucerne Mountain, aka the Seven Sisters. This is a beautiful backdrop for a paddle, and it would have made for a spectacular backdrop for the old train station and the village that once stood here. With the thoughts of trains in my head, I had assumed the bridge I was paddling towards was a train bridge, but in fact, it was just a bridge. But as I passed under it, something in the distance caught my eye, so I pulled ashore, and it was time for a little side quest. So I just hopped out of the canoe, and that was in fact not a railway bridge. It was just a bridge. So I also saw this oldish looking house that I'm not sure if it's a cabin or what it is, but I figured I would go get a closer look. First of all, I did grab bear spray because we are potentially in bear area. It's got a rope across, says no camping, but it doesn't say no trespassing. And it is an old cabin. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's somebody's or if it's an old historical building, but I'm not gonna go in. There's a lock on the door, Come inside, giant pile of firewood. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to canoeing. So that side quest didn't turn out the way I'd hoped. I was fully expecting that to be a historical railway building, but I think it was just somebody's cabin. Somebody's cabin that I was probably trespassing at. Anyways, now that I'm back to canoeing, I'll finish off my story about Yellowhead Lake. Yellowhead, or Tete Jaune, is the nickname of Pierre Bostonnet, an Iroquois Métis fur trapper and trader. Likely hailing from Boston, hence the name, Pierre Bostonnet crossed the Rocky Mountains via the pass we now call Yellowhead. The yellow, of course, came from the color of his hair, which was blonde. And now, his yellow head marks the way through the Rocky Mountains, which is a pretty sweet legacy, if you ask me. Okay, I'm officially on the far end of Yellowhead Lake, and it is pretty sweet. The view is pretty spectacular, but ultimately this whole lake has looked pretty spectacular itself. The beach that I'm standing on is kind of sandy, but it's got a lot of these rocks. It looked very sandy from a distance, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because all I'm going to do is turn around. I have paddled 6.6K, so at the halfway mark, I think I'm looking at about 13K by the time I get back. So I'm going to have a quick snack now, and then I'm going to head back. I'm going to head back on the freeway side, which is definitely the more noisy side. At least the trains are very sporadic, so the train will probably be really loud. Anyways, I'm talking about absolutely nothing. Have a snack. Let's head back to camp. Let's go. So as I head back towards camp, I can honestly say that I really enjoyed my time on Yellowhead Lake. Sure, I broke my canoe, but everything else was awesome. The paddling, the history, the scenery, and the fact that I saw almost no one else out here. This place was awesome, and I highly recommend it to anyone. As for me, I just paddled hard all the way back to camp. Well, mostly paddled. Anyways, as much as I enjoyed it, it does always feel nice to hit the shores of home. Okay, I am back at camp, and I am working on repairing my seat because I actually would like to go canoeing tomorrow on Moose Lake. Anyways, I got my solar panels out and my stuff there, and then my canoe is still in the cart. And if you see, I have the seat taken out, and actually if you look here, you can see a couple dents. That is from where my water bottle was holding up the seat. Anyways, if you come over here and you look at the seat, I cracked this tube. It has now a pretty awkward bend to it. So basically what I have done is cut up a bunch of these braces, and I have some rope and some Gorilla Tape, and I'm going to try to rig it back up to functional, at least for now. I plan on bracing it and then either tying it or taping it or both, and try to get it as straight as possible, because I do have, at least I would like to go canoeing tomorrow, and I even have more canoeing I would like to do on this trip. And this is a real bummer, because if I was at home in town, if I have it for BC, I could literally go to Western Canoe and Kayak and get one of these tomorrow or today, and it'd be a very easy fix. But unfortunately, I'm on the road and I'm kind of in no man's land right now, and maybe I'll be able to pick something up in Alberta, but that's where I'm gonna go after this. But I honestly have no idea, so I'm gonna have to rig it up for now and make it work as best as possible. So with that being said, I'm gonna fix this, make some dinner. Anyways, that's that. Okay, seat is rigged up, and if you can see, I think it looks beautiful. And I'm not 100% sure how else is gonna hold, but I can't really test it, but I am gonna go put it into the canoe. And I think I'm still gonna jam something, ideally my water bottle, underneath. Sorry, I saw a squirrel. Okay, that seat is rigged up pretty good. If you look under here, I got that jammed under, and I do think that's gonna provide enough support. Yeah, I'm gonna be optimistic about it. Anyways, with that being said, that is another job done. I'm gonna load this canoe onto the roof and then make some dinner. So it is officially time for dinner. I got a pot of water on to boil. I got another pot of water ready to go. This is gonna be a 3-dish meal, which is kind of a pain because I have a 2-burner stove. But I'm making creamy beef tortellini with Italian sausage, broccoli, red pepper, onion. This is gonna be really good. I am very hungry. Anyways, I'm gonna chop up some red pepper, some onion, get that on frying with my meat, and then boil up. It's gonna be broccoli in one pot, pasta in the other. I just hope the timing works out all right. Anyways, let's chop some veg. So with the veggies all cut, broccoli goes into the pot to cook. Then I got a fry pan going with some olive oil to add the onion and eventually the red pepper. Eventually I add the Italian sausage to my onion and red pepper mix. And then it's time to drain my broccoli, which then frees up my extra burner so now I can cook my tortellinis, and now we're smooth sailing. I will say I felt a few raindrops and the sky looks pretty gray. I hope it holds off till at least after dinner, at least after I cook dinner, but not 100% confident. Hey, this water is boiling, pasta going in. I'll turn that off for now. Okay, turn that back on. Bring that back up to temp. Okay, we're going with the tomato and basil Classico. It was on sale. I still do not have a job. Please like and subscribe. And maybe buy me dinner on Patreon. We'll add tomato sauce. So now we got chive and onion, left over from bagels, cream cheese, I should say. Chive and onion, cream cheese, Philadelphia. Spoonfuls of that. Oh, my pasta timer is going. It's probably enough for a bagel. Turn that off. Turn this down. Get that cream cheese melting. Turn that up. And I'll drain this. Give that one final mix. We'll add some tortellini. Oh yeah, bud. Yeah. I almost forgot entirely about the broccoli. And I have eaten almost no vegetables this entire trip, so I need that broccoli. Keep mixing. Oh yeah. I'll go with just a little bit of cheese on top. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, bud. This is the official taste test here. That's really good. The creaminess of the sauce was a good touch. Definitely better than if it was just regular old tomato sauce. That was so good. Okay, it's officially raining here, so I'm gonna pack up as quick as possible, try to get some dishes done, and retreat back into the van, at least for now. Hopefully it'll be nice enough to have a fire though. Yeah, bud. So the weather never did get better, so I just washed my dishes and then went and hid in the van for the rest of the night. Well, good morning. It is about 8 something. I slept all right, although at some point in the night I had a pretty savage headache. I don't really know what the deal was, but I feel better now, so I'm just gonna start the day. I'm gonna walk over to the facilities. I got to take a number 2, pretty bad, and then after that we're pretty quickly just gonna roll out of here. I gotta grab some water for the day. I might have been dehydrated, maybe that's why I had a headache. Although the water did have a boil water advisory. Hey, that's why I had a headache. Anyways, I'm gonna take a number 2, grab some water, and then we're gonna roll out of here and move on with our trip. So that's pretty wild. They've already put up the available sign in my campsite, and I haven't even left yet. Anyways, I'm just gonna load up this firewood here, and then go pump some water, and then that's pretty much it. Okay, one final once over the campsite, and we are good to go. Pump up some water. Oh yeah. So I think I did mention it already, but I am off to canoe Moose Lake. Moose Lake is the only lake on the Fraser River, and that's where I'm headed next. So if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe and come along for the rest of this big old road trip I'm on. And with that being said, I'm going to pump up some water and I'm going to get out of here. Okay, we are officially at our pump. Right there. And see, boil water advisory. Well, Buddy told me he drinks it, so I'm just drinking it. This pump is very janky. I feel like this is gonna take forever. Pump ain't working. Well, you know what? That pump ain't working. So we're going thirsty. But anyways, other than that, that's it. That's the end of this episode. Camping on the historic Yellowhead Lake and the Yellowhead Highway in Mount Robson Provincial Park. Peace.